Microphone. There we go. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting on Monday, December 7th. And just a reminder again, I know I did at the work session, but immediately following this will be a special meeting that we'll have.
They're all special.
You're all aware of that. I can see you're all smiling. So if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please stay standing. Heavenly Father, we thank you all for we thank you for all of our blessings that you have bestowed upon our city. We know your word allows us to enter a new season, to build upon the good news and the victories of our last season of 2015. We place our leadership before you and ask for your spiritual guidance in meeting the new challenges and opportunities for our city. We ask for a special blessing for our Deputy City Manager, Bob Beckley, as he begins his retirement. And we thank you for his accomplishments and his devotion in serving our City Council and our city. Father, we ask for your protection for our troops serving all over the world and, of course, for our public safety. In your name, amen.
Amen.
We have one communication item tonight. Our city manager, Brian Dockey, will make a short presentation, and then I will read a proclamation recognizing Deputy City Manager Bob Beckley's retirement and 42 years of municipal government service. Brian?
Mayor, members of the council, it's very bittersweet tonight that I'm before you. We're all wearing It's Good to Be Bob stickers. And I don't know about yours. Mine's starting to fade off a little bit.
Mine's peeling a little bit.
Kind of
You're halfway gone.
Yeah, it fell off once. I stuck it back on there. So hopefully it will get us through the night. But this is very special tonight. Bob Beckley, one of our two deputy city managers, retiring from Goodyear. This Friday actually is his last day. And it was mentioned he spent 42 years in local government service. 42 years. That's a long time. And I have to tell you, just during that time, he's impacted a lot of lives. Some people will never know the efforts that Bob's done over the years, going all the way back to Michigan and then Surprise and now Goodyear. And we have had Bob here since February of 2013, and we worked him hard, and I have to tell you, it was just an amazing experience. Really became very reliant on Bob. He served in several roles, and as you may be aware, some of them, he was our de facto public works director until the newly created position just this budget year, and now we have Javier Acedovich that's with us. But Bob was our de facto public works director. He was the engineering director for a while as well, and he's been very involved with the development community. So I see Bob Bambauer. Actually, I don't see him. I know he's behind me. I feel his eyes poking at us, but it's relationships like that where our Bob has worked very hard in developing those relationships. It's been very critical for us. So Bob's wife, Mary, is also back there. Mary, if you want to raise your hand.
Well, stand, because you make as many sacrifices when you have some work for the city.
And she's asked for a second Bob sticker, so we'll probably oblige a little bit later. But just to finish up before we do go through the proclamation, he has earned the respect Bob has of the development community, our Goodyear employees, and he's been a critical and key part of our executive management team over the last several years throughout his tenure. His values, his ethics, his just approach to serving the public and serving each other has been remarkable. So tonight is Bob's last council meeting. Now he will probably applaud and as he retires. And we will have an opportunity for those council members that are available. This Thursday at 2 o'clock, we will be having a city internal going away event for Bob. So you're most welcome to attend that as well. I understand there's a special presentation from one of our council members for that as well. But that's Thursday, 2 p.m. in room 117. So with that, Mayor, I would ask tonight that we look forward to the proclamation recognizing Bob's tenure with the city.
This is the longest proclamation I've ever had to read. So, yeah, you should be honored. And let's hope that I can read between these lines tonight because they're close together. But in honor and recognition of Bob Beckley, Deputy City Manager for the Services to the City of Goodyear. Whereas Bob Beckley is retiring with the completion of 42 years of service working in municipal government, serving the needs of the customers and constituents. And whereas Bob Beckley has served the City of Goodyear as a Deputy City Manager, overseeing development services, engineering, parks and recreation, and public works from 2013 to 2015. Whereas Bob Beckley, well, he's been instrumental in overseeing the successful adoption of the City Council of the Transportation Plan, Parks, Recreation, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan, and proposed a 5-year water and wastewater rate structure and the Infrastructure Improvement Plan. Pretty terrific, Bob. Whereas under Bob's leadership, the City of Goodyear undertook several major projects to ensure the safety of employees and residents and continued delivery of services, including new 10,000 square foot Goodyear Public Library, fleet and equipment maintenance facility, the 9/11 Emergency Operations Center, capital improvements to Parc des Paz and Palmatier. I said it wrong, didn't I? Palmatier. Okay, that's close enough, okay? And improvements to the Corget Water Reclamation Facility and temporary recommissioning of the soil aquifer treatment site and a recharge well project. And a 10-year asset, I'm going to say this for Joe Pazzillo, a 10-year asset management and replacement plans. And whereas Bob Beckley, creativity and perseverance to negotiate intricate and exciting projects. Well, Bob, you have helped strengthen the city's relationship with others, including schools, businesses, neighborhoods, and volunteers, and those in the development community and other public agencies. That's quite a feat. And whereas Bob Beckley has been involved in the oversight of countless events that enhance a sense of community, such as spring training baseball, Art is Alive, the annual Fall Festival, Chalk Art in the Park, inaugural Veterans Day Tribute, Ballet Under the Star, and Home Plate for the holidays. Whereas Bob Beckley always believed in the values of the community and collaboration as evidence of his leadership and the city's partnership with residents, Newland and West Valley Trails Association to develop and maintain the pump track bike amenity at Foothills Community Park. And now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Georgia Lord, which is a privilege to be doing this to you, Mayor of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby call upon all residents of Goodyear to recognize and applaud Bob Beckley for his leadership, his vision, and his dedication to our community. Given under my hand in these free United States in the City of Goodyear on the 7th day of December 2015, to which I have caused the seal of the City of Goodyear to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. Can we give him a round of applause?
I'm really moved with all those kind comments. I really think as that list was going, as you were going through the list, Mayor, that it tired me out, to be honest. But more so, it really spoke to how many people that really went into those events and those projects and those initiatives. And that's what it's all about. The staff that is here, the council is just fantastic. I think people have commented that I smile a lot, and it's because it's just such a great place to work. I have a few comments that I'd like to make, just talking about really what I think makes the city great. You know, I have to begin with the mayor and council leadership. It always starts with the mayor, and as it does here, Mayor Lord, you're just a tremendous advocate, spokesman for this community. all council members work tirelessly to promote what's great about this city and to encourage new development. It's easy to work for you, especially if you're in the development game, because we know that you have our back. And the best interests of the city are entrusted with you, which is just, you do a remarkable job. As important as your commitment to the city, the commitment and the expression of respect and support that you show the staff does wonders to build a strong team. I think the strength of the city is really the connection of your leadership and the respect and support, continued support you show all of the staff, be it a presentation, it could be a call, a question about an upcoming council meeting, or a question that you have on a particular constituent issue. All that builds is teamwork and trust and respect from staff especially. And then finally, the direction that you provide and the vision that you provide for the city is something that I have never seen in my career. The clarity, the consensus building that you provide to us gives us a great tool to really develop the types of programs and initiatives that the city needs. A couple of the things that really struck a chord with me when I arrived here, and also since I've been here, is one of the topics on tonight's agenda, the asset management. It's all about sustainability, and this council gets it. Sustainability in the infrastructure is important, but sustainability and the foundation of the city. That's what it's all about. That's what you stress to all of the directors, city management office, and we appreciate that clarity. The city management is also the next part of the pillar that I think really strengthens this entire city. We have a city manager, Brian, who communicates very effectively and really works to support the interest of council. He impresses upon all of the staff, deputies all the way down the line, as far as how important it is to see that you're informed, you have the proper information to make the decisions that you're entrusted to make. He's someone that is a people person, and that is so important in this city. It just pays, it just helps build team, it helps build commitment on the part of all the staff. And it's so fortunate that you have a city manager that is that type of person, is able to connect with not just the staff, not with the directors, but with the outside, the external customers that we have. That's what it's all about. That's what he preaches, and that's what everyone understands and really wants to step up to. Finally, in terms of city management, I have to say that the alignment that we have with the strategic action plan, which was a little new to me when it was just under development, I think, in 2012, but that really has stood the test of time. It's not just a quick idea that sounded good in 2012. It's really began to build a foundation. That, along with the alignment of the performance-based budgeting, city staff performance measures, accountability, continuous improvement, and transparency, which is all rolled up into really the alignment that we're trying to implement in this city, is largely the result of Winnette Reed's efforts. Brian has been very supportive in that and has entrusted Winnette to really take it to the maximum, which she has done very, very successfully. It's setting the basis and the foundation for great things to come. I have to move on to the directors because they're the ones that I've spent a lot of time with over the last 3 years. If I could, the issues that come up, it's what can I do? What can I help you with? What do you need? It's never, I'm not really crazy about that. They all get it. They all are committed to seeing excellence in this city for all of the customers, all the residents, all the business community. The collaboration that they show over the leadership of the city manager, they work together very seamlessly as a team. No one really has vested interest and protects them. It's all for the good of the group. And I have not experienced that kind of continuity and consensus in many of the places that I've seen or worked. Along with the directors, I have to personally recognize Mario Salamando. He's been my assistant for the entire 3 years, and he's always got the answer. He always knows where to get the answer, and he always has followed through with picking up the loose ends that we occasionally drop in the city manager's office. And I'm really proud of tonight's presentation. He started to take on asset management, and it just gives an example of how far he's come, not just in the communication, but the active leadership of that initiative, which is needed in a community our size. Finally, the staff. One of the things that right off the bat when I started working here, the pride that they have, how important this community is to them. They're almost nearly all of them are residents, and they really care about this community. Their strong commitment to providing a high level of service is outstanding. You ask them to do, you explain what the job is and what the need is, and they're there. They'll come in on extra hours. They'll do over and above what is asked of them. And it's just such a pleasure to feel that you're in it with a team, a strong team, as I mentioned before. These individuals care about the residents of this community. They provide assistance both in the course of their jobs and also in support of multiple charities outside of work. The Fill-A-Need, the community, you've all seen the efforts that they make. It's just unheard of to see that kind of commitment, both to their job and also then to the charitable organization, the various needs that we have around the community. Finally, the community participation and volunteerism. I've seen volunteers, but nothing like Goodyear. You have, for the community, you have I think it was over 2,000 hours of volunteer time that's spent. That's the people that are volunteering. In addition to that, we have people that freely give their opinion, and usually it's very constructive. I remember the general plan discussions. We had great feedback from the community wherever we went. Katie Wilkins did a fantastic job there. The Water Planning Committee, another example where residents will come out, give their opinion on how to proceed on various issues, in this case the water planning, the water initiatives. They did an outstanding job to try to help the city move through a path of growth and also dealing with some of the issues that needed to be dealt with. The volunteers, as I mentioned, is a precious resource that I think it just helps in multiple areas of the city. Finally, I just want to part by saying I thank you very much for the time that I've been able to spend here at Goodyear. It's been the greatest 3 years of my professional career, bar none. And my future, I'm looking for attention to a few neglected things around the house that my wife has reminded me on a number of times. I will really treasure the time to be able to spend more time with my wife and family. She has been, as was mentioned by the mayor, a tremendous help to me in performing the various responsibilities I had to complete over the years. So I'm very indebted to her. And then finally, I just wish the best to all of you. This city has such a bright future. I just wish that you have every success going forward. Thank you.
I don't want to leave council out. Does anybody want to make? Yeah, we'll start down at Bill Stips in.
2 weeks ago, I tried to get you out of here, Bob. This is Bob's last night, so it finally came tonight. I first of all marvel at 42 years. I'm not going to say only, but basically only because you must have started when you were 10, because you certainly you don't have the "I've been here for 42 years" look on your face, and that's very reassuring. And I know our conversations that Brian has one-on-one, at least with myself, has constantly been, praising the work that you've done and the contribution that you've been making. And it's not just from Brian, but we see that, day in and day out. So for me, I greatly appreciate that. I know you're going to take some time, but if you start to get bored and you're looking for a consulting opportunity, give me a call. My cell phone, you know it. We can always use a good man on the team. So good luck. And Mary, thank you for sharing him. It's been a pleasure working with Bob, and I wish you the greatest success in your travels. I know that that's part of your plan. So good luck with that, and stay safe.
Councilman Basillo?
What about Bob? What can I say? It's been a pleasure working with you, and my 2 cents worth isn't done yet, if I can work something out here. So I have another surprise for you. But yeah, you're always smiling. And like I always tell the mayor, it's easy to grin when your ship comes in. And your ship is just about to leave the dock for a great retirement. So with that being said, again, good luck. Don't do like I do. I retired. I'm busier now than before I quit. So enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your time. And I'm sure there's plenty of work on the side around the house that's got to get caught up. So, again, best wishes there, Bob.
Vice Mayor?
You're going to hear this for the next few people. Thank you so much for your service. Thank you so much for everything you do and everything you have done for the city and the citizens and us to help us if we ever had a question. You are a wealth of knowledge. And it's going to be a great loss for us. We're sad to see you go. We wish you could stay. But it's good for you. And after 42 years, you deserve a wonderful retirement. Go have fun. Do whatever you want and follow your dreams, because I agree with Bill, you must have started at about 10, so you've got plenty of time to go enjoy that. And we will miss you. And if you're bored on a Monday night, feel free to stop by. We'll be here till about 10.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you won't miss that. But thank you for all you've done, and good luck with you and your family and all your future endeavors. Take care.
Councilman Osborne?
Well, I certainly have thanks for you. And hearing all the wonderful things that you've really accomplished just for Goodyear in the last few years. I'd actually forgotten about the public works at the very beginning. But, those are all wonderful things that you've done. But really, you, the man, is quite frankly what I got to see when you were speaking to the Pebble Creek Palm Valley group on the noise study. And I was just sitting there listening to you and watching you, and you just have a way about you that is soothing and helps put people, kind of at ease, and they truly believe that you have the understanding and that you care. And that was, the message that you were giving to them during a time of conflict that people weren't happy about, and they were interested in information. And so that's something that you don't necessarily teach in somebody. This is who you are, the man. And I will have to tell you, Manager Dalkey, that as we look for his replacement, that replacement needs to have that ability to be soothing with people and to be understanding, because there are situations where we have great things to tell the city, and then we have times where it's conflict, and you have the ability to work through that. So thank you very much. Enjoy your time, and I've really appreciated you being here in Goodyear.
Councilman Campbell?
Well, I've had a lot of fun with Bob. I've asked him lots of questions, and I've met with him on lots of things. But I've never met someone that could come into an organization and never miss a beat. Step right into your job and just go with it, and then do such a wonderful job doing it. I appreciate your tenacity. I appreciate your gentleness, telling me that that's not what we do or how we do it, but you came up with another suggestion for me that was very nice, and I appreciated it. I know this is bittersweet to you because you do love what you do, and we love having you on our team. You'll always be a member of our team. but it's the time of it's the season that you need to do what you want to do as your retirement is here, and while you have your health and you're able to travel, I know you're looking forward to that. I have to tell you though, I feel sorry and for our city manager, because you're going to leave such a big void as well with Kim leaving on the 11th. I mean, we have a hole in that office, and I'm sure we'll be successful in filling it, but it's just not going to be the same, and you're always going to be thought of with love and with affection from all of us, and we just thank you for all you've done, and we hope you won't be a stranger to us. Best of luck, Bob.
Councilman Holman?
Thank you, Bob. I think the thing of everything I heard tonight, that you have been part of the team for 3 years, I find astounding, because as Wally stated, you never missed a beat. It seems like you've been a part of the team for a very long time. You were able to successfully fill any void that you were asked to, and it takes a very special person. I thank you for wishing us all success, but it's back at you, Bob. We want you to have much success as a retired person. I think there are several people here that have failed miserably at the retirement aspect. Please keep in touch so we can be aware that you stuck to your guns and you are retired and enjoying your travel. I think it's hard for me to go last because we've got a lot of articulate people on this dais. And just know that everything that was said tonight was said with great sincerity, and that you will be missed.
Well, I guess I'm the last one. As you said, everybody has said all the right words tonight. I guess a little bit different, I guess I can add to it, is I'm in the office just about every day. And you know my personality, sometimes it flares a little bit and I get a little emotional. And Bob has always been the one that's been able to talk to me and present another side of it, and he's very calming. I don't know what the city manager is going to do now without you, but I'll try to control myself just a little bit more. So you really have helped us. You're just a delightful person, and there's lots of laughter up in the city hall, in the manager's area, and in the mayor's area, because sometimes, you know, in life you have to have that humor to get through it, and that's one of your greatest assets. So I'm going to send you off, and I know your honey-do list is long. So she didn't bring it tonight. I thought you might show us what it is, but I know you're going to do a good job, because I know what a great job you've done for us. So I know a home is going to be bright. So I wish you the best. Have lots of fun. I know your goal is to see the United States, and you and I agree on that people talk about traveling all over the world, but we have the greatest place in the world to live, and the United States of America has so much beauty. So enjoy the beauty, enjoy the trip. And again, thank you so much for your service. All right. Now is the time for citizens who would like to address the City Council on any non-agenda item. Do we have anybody here this evening? All right, we're going to cross that on. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go on, and we will go to the consent agenda if everybody is ready for that. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda item 6.1 by title only?
Item 6.1, approved draft minutes from a regular meeting and a special meeting held on November 9th, 2015, and a regular meeting held on November 16th, 2015.
Thank you. Does anyone from the public wish to remove an item on the consent agenda? All right. Does anyone in the council wish to remove an item on the consent agenda? All right. Thank you. With that, could I hear a motion and a second, please?
So moved. Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stipp and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne? Aye. Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Great. Well, let's go to the business. So the first item on business is a public hearing to consider the submittal of a community development block grant application to the Maricopa County Human Services Department. So let's open the public hearing. There you are. There's Alex Latzinski, Planner 2, will present. Today she was at GEO, and so it was her really first permanent time, right? Because you moved from part-time to a permanent. And I made a comment to her how well she did on her first presentation here, so she's under pressure tonight. So anyway, you're on.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Bob. It's a hard act to follow after all those awesome words about Bob. I'm here to present the CDBG application and resolution for HUD's 2016-2017 grant application cycle. Staff has concluded that our best option for this application cycle is to continue with the water line replacements in historic Goodyear as Phase 4. The installation of water lines in historic Goodyear started in 1954, and various lines throughout the neighborhood were installed up until the early 80s. Currently, historic Goodyear water lines are not included in the CIP. These lines are old, deteriorating, and cause public safety risk to the neighborhood. The water lines are undersized and provide for low fire flows, putting the community at risk. The area is considered a low mod neighborhood, and public infrastructure improvements are high priority in the consolidated plan. The areas shown in red are where the existing water lines will be replaced. In total, 1,750 linear feet of water line will be replaced. If the entire $380,000 request is granted. This will also provide for 5 new hydrants, 2 of which will replace existing insufficient hydrants, and 23 homes will be directly benefited from these new 8-inch water lines. The City of Goodyear has been very successful in the past with CDBG funding. I'm sure you all know. Within the past 10 years, we've submitted just about every year, without a few years, and then as approved at 2 weeks ago, we did return the commercial facade improvement funding. Provided approval of this item, this is the schedule for the rest of the process. Application is due on Friday, and then by the end of February, funding will be announced. And at that point, that's when the 25% match from the water fund will be requested as a supplemental. That 25% is budgeted for permit fees, plan review, owner's contingency, and potential cost overruns. And that is all I have.
All right, thank you. Are there any speaker cards? Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right, then would the city clerk please read Resolution 15-1726 by title only, please?
Mayor, can you please close the public hearing?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you please close the public hearing?
Public hearing closed. Would the city clerk please read Resolution 15-1726 by title only?
Adopt Resolution number 15-1726, authorizing the submission of one application for FY 2016-2017 Community Development Block Grant Program funds to the Maricopa County Human Services Department, and authorizing the city manager to execute all documents relating to said application.
Thank you. Could I have a motion, a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
I didn't hear them. A motion was made by Vice Mayor Loretano, and the second was made by Councilman Campbell. Open for council discussion. I was going to give this side first, if you would.
Thank you.
Councilman Campbell.
Well, I am glad that we're moving forward, because I would like to see us get finished with historic Goodyear, and using the CDBG funds. This is the proper way and best way for our city to replace those aging infrastructure there, because we have other areas in our city that we would like to do the next time. And as CDBG moves forward, we don't always get funded, and we need sometimes not to apply for several years to give the rest of the communities that are part of CDBG an opportunity that they can be funded. But I really appreciate you trying to finish this up. Now, will this finish us, as far as you know?
this is actually the 4th phase out of 10 phases.
Oh, gosh. Really? I didn't realize we had 10 phases.
Yes, Mayor, Lord, Councilman Campbell. We have done 3 phases.
Yes.
What we're doing right now is it's a quick submittal from giving the money back to the grant. We had phase A, B, and C of phase 3 that we weren't able to afford last time.
Right.
So we were able to quickly package that together and submit that. So this is actually the part of the 3rd phase.
Oh,
There
we're
are
just
6 more-
resubmitting it.
There are 6 more phases when you look at the overall infrastructure replacement of historic Goodyear remaining.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Stipp.
Does this then, how does this correlate with the water master plan? We've been talking a great deal about the capital monies that need to be need to be used, et cetera. So if we're replacing these pipes with CDBG, there's got to be an offset on that rate structure issue. How does that all interweave?
Mayor, Councilman Stipp. Actually, the strategy behind this, the replacement of the water lines in the historic district, has been based on a funding strategy based on the CDBG grants. We do have some dollars allocated for water replacement in the infrastructure plan for the next 5 years. Pending additional funding through the CDBG, we would be able to absorb the cost of the historical district.
Maybe I'm not getting to my question the best way. We had a study done, laid out, this is what your infrastructure needs are, and it plopped down a dollar figure. That, I assume, included replacement of all of these water lines within it. Is that an accurate assumption, or am I off?
No, that was outside of the study. These lines had already been identified.
Okay, so this is completely outside of that $50 million or whatever we identified.
Well, there are some contingencies in those projects identified for the next 5 years, and so there's some dollars for replacement of water lines. These particular lines are being assumed to be replaced through the CDBG grants, but we could shift some of those dollars to replace these lines.
Yeah, no. So it was never included in that. The final figure that we came to the conclusion to make our rate adjustment based on, this was not part of it.
Not specifically.
That's probably the best way to ask the question. Thank you so much.
Any other question? All right, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Loretano?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on business to consider approving the cost-sharing agreement with APS and Sunbelt Holdings for a relocation of a transmission line power pole. Bob Beckley, Deputy City Manager, to present.
Thank you. Tonight we have the issue of pole relocation at the corner of Cotton and Indian School. We have a pole that was installed a year ago, a little over a year ago, by APS near in the intersection, and it was placed at a location that now conflicts with the proposed pavement. So tonight we're asking for council approval to authorize the city manager to enter into and finalize an agreement, a tri-party agreement with APS and Sunbelt Holdings for up to, not to exceed, $100,000 to relocate a 230 kV transmission pole that's located at Camelback and Cotton. The need is the relocation to accommodate the new pavement alignment. The cost sharing deal points are, number one, with each of the parties agree to pay up to $100,000. Secondly, the APS would arrange for a third-party contractor to install the work in advance of the opening of REI. We expect that outage is planned for March, so that would accommodate completion by April. The next steps going forward, just to give you an idea of the corridor, we're located just on the northern side of the new REI development. Business corridor will only increase in terms of traffic volumes, both on both abutting properties sides. This is a geometric photo of the Camelback and Cotton, where the pole is now is right in the curb alignment of the proposed pavement, and it would be moved to the left of the present location in the area outside the pavement, still within the right-of-way. This, as I mentioned, the total estimated cost is $300,000. As late as today, the APS has received an initial quote for the work, and it's in the area between $200,000 and $250,000. We feel that, and APS feels that it's going to be under the original estimate. APS and the city have agreed to participate. Sunbelt also has agreed to participate. They are per their sales agreement to REI, they were responsible for building the road. They have an obligation to turn the road over to REI per their contract. They were supposed to have this paved out by October of this year. So they've extended their contract with REI. They're most interested in getting this done in a very timely fashion. Thus the reason for their support of this. The funding source that's been identified is the City Manager Contingency Fund, of which up to $100,000 would be taken from that fund. The agreement is anticipated to be finalized in January. At that point, they'll have final costs and a final schedule. And at that point, provided the contract terms are as described in this presentation, the project work is scheduled to commence in March of 2016. This resulted from, in our opinion, an error from both our plan review staff as well as APS staff that applied for the permit. Just to give a quick rundown of that, a permit was applied for miscellaneous line work in the area. It wasn't specific to a pole, and especially a pole of this magnitude. Quite frankly, it was missed as an oversight on our part. But then subsequent to that, APS was asked for more clarity. They came back with a plan that was not as descriptive. It didn't even indicate a 230 kV pole that was in place. So we feel that there really is some joint responsibility, both on our part and also with APS. And this proposed settlement, and also of considering the interest of Sunbelt, is an equitable solution moving forward. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Council.
Thank you, Bob.
Mayor, if I may, and also we have Bob Bambauer with Sunbelt Holdings in the back too, if there are questions of him as well. So just wanted to point
Great.
that out.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right. Then will the city clerk please read Resolution 15-1738 by title only, please?
Adopt Resolution 15-1738, authorizing the city manager to finalize and execute an agreement with Arizona Public Service and Sunbelt Holdings for the relocation of a 230 kV transmission power line pole generally located at Camelback Road and Cotton Lane.
A second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Holman, a second by Councilman Osborne. Open for council discussion. Councilman Osborne.
Thank you, Bob, for the presentation. A couple of things. I mean, first of all, I'd like to thank Sunbelt Holdings for partnering with us on this. This is obviously something that is a collaboration that we want to see occur, and this is for economic development for our city, and it's important. So I do really appreciate the partnership. But also on the side of staff, I know this was an oversight, but has procedure changed so that something like this, more detail would be given that our city would insist upon in the future, whether it's procedure or policy in that department on how this would come in the future?
This has definitely highlighted the need for greater scrutiny on utility permits in general, as well as all the work undergoing through the various departments about recognizing the appropriate relative risk of all of this work that comes through our doors. We have to be able to identify and bring those high profile or potential high risk installations to ensure that we understand what the scope is, what the potential liability is to the city. Per the franchise agreement, we are obligated to timely review those permits, but it doesn't prevent us from doing our due diligence, which we will ramp up and do a better job of in the future.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilman Basillo?
No, all I want to mention is a lot of this issue was vetted prior. So just for the public to know that we thoroughly vetted this issue. So the reason why you may see lack of discussion, other than I agree with Councilmember Osborne as far as putting in place so we don't have this issue again. For those that are listening, we had a thorough vetting of this discussion. So my questions were pretty much answered in that, other than just to add what Councilmember Osborne said to make sure that we've got it in place so issues don't happen again. Thanks.
Appreciate your comments, Councilman Pizzillo. Councilman Stipp?
Those were my comments.
Oh, same. In agreement with what you're saying. So thank you very much. So I think we're ready to vote on this. All right, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Holman?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
Passes 7-0.
Thank you very much, Bob. We'll go on to the next item, 7.3, to consider receiving the 2014-2015 annual audit. Larry Lang, Finance Director, to present.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. It is with great pleasure that I'm here this evening to present the annual audit, another very successful audit. I want to start by thanking the staff of the Finance Department and our auditors for a phenomenal job that they've done. Getting this audit put together this year when our staff resources were spread quite thin was really just an effort of leadership on Rebecca's part and her staff, and I congratulate them for getting us to this point. So I'm pleased to present the audit report and want to tell all of you that we reviewed this in considerably more depth with the audit committee, which consists of Vice Mayor Loretano, Councilmember Pizzillo, and Councilmember Stipp. We had a great conversation, a lot more detailed questions in things within the audit, and appreciate their input and their guidance as we go through the audit process. With that, I would like to introduce Jill Shaw. Jill is the partner for this engagement with Heinfield and Meach, and ask Jill to discuss the audit from her perspective.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry. Mayor, council members, thank you for having me here this evening to present the audit. I first, too, would like to thank the Finance Department, particularly Rebecca, for all of their helpfulness and cooperation during the audit. We ask a lot of questions and we pull a lot of documentation, but we don't necessarily help put it back. So we definitely appreciate all the time it takes outside of their day job. As far as the audit goes, it's broken down into several parts. The first and the largest part is the citywide financial statement audit, and that results in the CAFR report. And that is the audit of all of the finances of the city. Secondly, we have the single audit, and that is required because the city spent more than $500,000 in federal awards this year, and primarily due to the CDBG grants. As well as we look at expenditures of the HERF fund, the Highway User Fund, and statute requires that we look at those expenditures in that fund specifically to make sure that they're being spent on items that are required by statute because those are revenues dedicated to transportation purposes. As well, the CFDs, the 9 of those, they are included in the citywide financial statements, but in addition, we issue a separate audit opinion for each of the 9 CFDs, and those have a separate report as well that gets audited. In addition to just looking at the financial statements and the numbers side of things, we also look at internal controls is a large part of what we do during the audit. So internal controls are things like segregation of duties, those checks and balances, adherence to policies and procedures, ensuring that there's not a heavy reliance on detective controls. If a preventative control can be put into place, we would rather see controls that can prevent something from occurring altogether as opposed to catching misstatements or fraud on the back end. So we look at all of that. Our audit standards don't allow us to give an opinion and say controls are good, but we are required to report on internal control weaknesses. And so that's a portion of what we look at during the audit. Some major changes in the audit from the year before. This was the first year that the city had had a single audit since 2013, and that just happens as federal expenditures fluctuate from year to year. So the city is at that threshold there. As well as the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, GASB, had a new accounting pronouncement that was required to be implemented this year, and that had to do with pensions and recording the city's proportion of the ASRS and public safety retirement system liability in the city's financial statements. So that resulted in a lot of new disclosures and a new liability added to the financial statements. As Larry mentioned, we also meet with the audit committee twice a year. We meet as part of the planning process to get input as to if there are any particular areas we should look at or focus at more during the audit this year, because we do a risk-based audit, and so we want to ensure we are putting our resources where the risks are higher, if need be. And then we met a couple of weeks ago as well to go over the reports in more depth and go over any questions there. And the results of the audit were great this year. All of the citywide financial statements, as well as all of the CFDs, received what we call an unmodified opinion in the auditor's report, also known as a clean audit report. So that was good. We did have one issue that was uncovered by audit procedures that was related to internal controls that we went over in depth with the audit committee, and procedures are already being put into place to correct that. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions regarding the audit process or audit reports.
Thank you very much. Are there any speaker cards? Would anybody in the audience like to speak? No. Did somebody raise it? Oh, Larry, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor. One comment I forgot to mention that we talked about specifically at the audit committee, and this has come up in the past, so I thought I would point it out to the city council. A couple of years ago, we dealt with the issue. There's a questionnaire that goes in on the schedule of findings that says, does the auditee qualify as a low-risk auditee? They had to answer that no this year. And the reason for that is last year, as Jill indicated, we didn't have a single audit. So it's only a reflection that we haven't been audited for 2 consecutive years. But I wanted that pointed out for all of you for your benefit.
Well, I think that's good for the public to hear because that's reassuring. Okay. All right. Are there any speaker cards? I'll repeat that again. Does anybody in the audience want to speak? All right. Could I please have a motion and a second to receive the 2014-2015 annual audit report completed by Heinfield, Meach and Company, PC, for the city of Goodyear. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Stipp and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. Councilman Stipp.
Larry, we had talked about adding what you just mentioned, the the single audit, to reflecting that somewhere in the management comments, or I've been looking for it. I'm not seeing it. Did we not get that?
What the discussion was, we did talk about that a little bit, and I think Jill researched from her standard, they can't change
Yeah, they
this
can't do it,
format.
but we could.
But what was discussed was that when we post this on the website, if we could just add a cover memo that explains that. That was the request of the committee.
Right.
And I'm glad you reminded me of it, but we will make sure tomorrow this gets posted on the website that we will include such a note to mention that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If I could add, Councilmember Stipp, on the last page there is a requirement that the city report on any prior audit findings, and so there it does state that there are no prior audit findings because an audit was not required. So, if you could refer someone to that page as well.
Yeah, and I remember that we had a discussion. I had forgotten we said we were going to put it on the website, so I'm glad you reminded me of that. But I think it's really important if somebody is taking the time to actually read the document, which I don't know why you would, but if they do take the time, the explanation I think is really, really important. So, again, thanks for the teamwork.
Yes, Councilman Campbell.
My question is, Jill was talking so softly, I was trying to hear. So the exception that you brought up, that it's some internal control, is that a very minor and something that was fixed on the spot, or?
Yes, the internal control weakness was not something that was able to be fixed on the spot.
Yeah, it's so hard to hear you.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Now I can hear it reflecting.
Yeah, just hold it.
Yes, as soon as it was brought to management's attention, the issue was immediately identified, what the problem was, and starting to be corrected. But it is something that'll take a little bit more time to fix altogether. It is, though, however, something that is easily, once it is fixed, it's very black and white, it will be fixed.
Well, I do know that certain CPAs have certain ways to do certain things, and sometimes they don't meet, but they eventually do when you have an audit like so.
Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of judgment there as far as our audit standards. We're required to put things in writing that we have assessed that those charged with governance or the council needs to know about. So that assessment is different from person to person, firm to firm. But this was something that we felt like the council did need to know about.
Well, we appreciate you doing that. Thank you.
Councilman Stipp.
Councilmember Campbell, this was reviewed with the audit committee.
I know, but I'm not on the audit committee, so I don't know what you reviewed.
No. So I'm saying it not only was it identified and brought up here tonight, but it was also brought up at our level as well, and we had a good discussion. So there was no, people can read into the question, but it was identified right away. They brought it up to us during the audit committee. So everyone's been very, very upfront, and like Jill said, it was a pretty minor occurrence. So that makes everybody feel better.
All right. No more questions? All right. Let's vote for it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right. We're at the information items. So, Council, do you have anything you would like to report on your current events or things that have been going on? You're looking at Councilman Campbell.
Well, I just have I'm going to do several, but not tonight because it's going to be a long night already. But for the National League of Cities, I am just so thrilled to tell you that we now have 2 more Arizonians on the board of directors, which now I'm not the only one, and I'm so glad. It's Chris Glover, who is a council member from Mesa, and Craig Barnes, who is a town council member from Queen Creek. And I'm looking forward to working with them because between the 3 of us, I think we can really watch for Arizona's interest. And since this is my second year being on the board, I'm not a new member. So I have one more year to go. And if I decide to run again, I have to apply and go before the nomination committee and then be reelected. But we're really enjoying being on the board, and we're learning, we are bringing Arizona to the forefront when you are sitting between California, New York, Baltimore, Detroit, and then they have issues that are nothing like what we deal with in Arizona. It's really, they're very respectful, and they really have enjoyed hearing our take on some of the things that we see and how we do things. So it's really been a joy to be on the board, and I'm just so tickled with Chris and Craig, and we're all going to sit together because Arizona sits together, and that'll be fun. So thank you.
That sounds great. Other comments? Well, Councilman Osborne. No? All right. Well, I will talk just a little bit. I was in Cincinnati, and Michelle and I were there. And I'm not going to go into the economic development side of some of the information that we discovered while we were there. I'm just going to talk about the fest. It was really great, but I just want you to know what people are saying. I shook hands about 1,800 people. Is that about it? And got a lot of surprises. They couldn't believe, again, that the mayor was there, for those that didn't know. And they had done really good coverage on the newspaper, and so they recognized me immediately because my picture was in the paper. But it's really interesting. I will tell you, I think this next year is going to be smashing. I can't tell you, and I wish I would have kept count, but it was just so many people coming at you at one time. It was very difficult to do that. The number of people that came up and said they've already purchased, because they were going to sign up for this contest, and they kept saying, well, why should I? I've already paid for it. They've already got the reservations. They've got, they're ready to come. And I was just amazed how many. And then the other people the other comments I heard was, well, I didn't think this was a good idea, Arizona, at all. But after being there, they were just amazed at how convenient it is to go to the different stadiums, to see the different teams. So, it was really encouraging. I had one out of the 1,800, and he said, I'm not signing up for this. Arizona's brown. It's just brown. Not going to go there. And so I immediately started talking about how wonderful Cincinnati is, and it is. It's a spectacular town. It's got great restaurants. Yeah, the city has, you would love it, Joy. Councilman Bazilla has had so many gathering places they've developed, and it's an old city, so they've been working on this, and our economic development will tell you about this and what we discovered while we were there. So it was very enlightening. So I'm glad we went. I think it's useful, and I think that that we're doing a good job. That the Parks and Rec and the ballpark, you're all doing a fantastic job. Talking about Goodyear, I had so many talking points in very short time with the press. So it was very hard to really tell about all these wonderful things we do. But I discovered one thing when people came up to me, really, I have to tell you, they talk about the sun.
Mm-hmm. The sun.
They talk about going and having some time away from their jobs, about having a vacation and relaxing. So we really, I know we want to sell the stadium, want to sell all of our assets, but if you just finally just mention the sun, they get this great big smile on their face, and they kind of take a deep breath and relax. And so anyway, it was all good news. I want to thank my Vice Mayor for subbing for me while I was gone, and I want to thank the council, too, for everything that you attended. I know you were busy, too, so that's my news from there. So, yeah.
Are we going to make a place for Ohio State fans when they come out here?
Oh, what?
For the festival.
Oh, for the festival.
Are we going to make a place
sure.
for that?
Get Ohio State out. Wow.
We'll have to think about
audience
that.
To hit.
I'm so glad you made that mention. Is Rob Bohr in the room?
Oh, no.
I think he said that Michigan State was not going to win, that they weren't a very good team. And I have a Michigan State hat and a scarf, and I put it somewhere and I couldn't find it in my rush tonight, but I wanted to come in wearing it. So for all you know, Michigan State won. It was a spectacular game. As all the games in the last week were pretty spectacular. So, all right, I'm done talking. It's all yours, City Manager.
Mayor and Council, and I'll be brief tonight as well. I do know we have a special meeting after this. I won't go into all the detail, but home plate for the holidays, and thank you for being there. For those that were able to, greet in Santa and have a ability to participate in that. But we had 5,500 people attend, which is about 500 more than last year. And we had the 40 tons of snow. We actually had a dig in the snow contest to find a picture of the Ziz. And thank goodness it was only 5 minutes. It was reported there was no frostbite or anything like that. But that was good for a $50, let me get that right, $200. And we had different sponsorships, but again, I'll put that in my weekly to go through the details. Shop with a Cop, and thank you for that as well. I understand there was a lot of participation, and thank you, Council, for your participation. 20 children, so we had 25 officers, 15 volunteers, and again, it's just another special event that is an outreach to our youth within our community. And thank you for your support of that. $8,000 raised from the Pebble Creek Home Tours, CTCA, Chick-fil-A, Walmart, and Easley's Fun Shop. So that was as part of that as well. The police ops groundbreaking, just a reminder, we look forward to seeing you Wednesday. You're always seeing dirt moving out there. They will stop the machinery to allow for us to actually have the groundbreaking. And I know ground is already broken, but we'll keep it moving. The last one, and Kim, I do apologize in advance. I know that Kim Bradford's not seeking recognition. She does not want any type of public
humiliation.
Well, maybe that. But, I can't just keep my mouth shut. Kim's ending a spectacular career here at Goodyear at the end of the week. Tonight's her last council meeting, so she will have her Monday nights free for Monday Night Football. I can't look that direction. But we're proud. She's going to Make-A-Wish Foundation. If you know Kim's heart, it's an amazing opportunity to influence people throughout this country. So it's a cool thing. It's her passion for those types of things, and to go to corporate office, national headquarters, and actually do their strategic planning manager. They won't know what hit them. We did. And I just want to share just a couple of things. I hired her 9.5 years ago, and to man, now I'm getting a little emotional, but I'll get through this. It's that blue stuff that's coming over. Kim, stop it. But I got to tell you, we got started on a journey with the West Core Mall and the Improvement District. And the first time we had a meeting, thank goodness, it was at Macaroni Grill, because I had that whole white tablecloth that's cloth with the crayons. Totally filled up with our strategies of making that happen. She was instrumental in that. Goodyear Spring Training, the 20-plus agreements, thousands of hours involved in that. She was our master coordinator, City Center Public-Private Partnership. And then, as you know, she did the interim budget manager, economic development manager, and what the heck, let's have her be the assistant to the mayor for a while as well. Plugged her in so many areas and needs within the organization, and we all know that she rose to the challenge. She's our innovation guru, and that is a legacy that will carry on here as well. I mean, you're already seeing that. Tons of volunteer assignments inside, outside of the organization, so people kept saying, Kim, can you help us out here? And I don't know if she ever turned anyone down. She's gotten a lot of recognitions, accolades over the years, certainly earned your respect, management, many others. So one of the best I have ever seen, if not the best, at strategic planning. In managing details, mastering new opportunities, you just plant a seed and it grows, mics break. There, we got a little bit of levity there. And just seeing her gain friends inside and outside of this city. So these traits will serve her well and Make-A-Wish as well. So just wanted to recognize that. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to break tradition here, and so I'm going to turn this over to the dais to lift. And I know Kim was very strict. And you wondered why I didn't put her in the prayer tonight, because I followed your orders. But I get a silent.
Her order.
I'm sorry.
But I gave a silent prayer to your future, and I know it's going to be bright, and I want you to be safe and happy and to advance in the areas you want. So I'm going to turn it over now. So we're going to start down at this end tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That way I don't have to repeat what everyone else has said. Kim, you are a shining star. I don't think words express how much admiration you have with your skills. And Make-A-Wish is very, very lucky to have you coming on board. As I'm sure do all of us, we wish you all the very best because of all the people we know. You're a lady, you're a person that deserves every bit of it. Thank you, Kim.
Molly?
Well, we're going to miss you, Kim. I'm going to miss not having you in your chair and not calling and saying, what do you think about this? And have you give me a history or just step in and tell me what we need to do. I alluded earlier to Brian because you are so important to him and to that office. Between you and Mary, you keep the glue together for him. And he has so much responsibility. And he does it so well, but he does it so well because of your help and your input and you picking up what needs to be done. Your vision is right in line with his and the city, and we appreciate that. We don't want you to go, but we don't want to hold you back from doing what your heart wants you to do. It's hard to leave, but you'll always be a part of us. And you know we love you, and we thank you for all that you've done.
Joanne?
And please stay in touch, okay?
Joanne?
I don't know if I can do this.
She's only going to another place.
I know.
It is not that place.
I know.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Kim, we've done some things together that I'm pretty proud of, and it's been a long time. I mean, I think we're 10 years now. We've changed some teens' lives, and we made some futures together for some kids. And I'm very proud of everything that you've been involved in. And, you know, every time I turned around, you were filling in for something else. And you just magically were there and did an incredible job. And, you know, I remember having the conversation with Brian of, don't you wear her out. You're scaring me. Because I was so worried that you were gonna get tired and because you were being, you know, taken to so many places. But that's also such a testament to your abilities. And you know, I emailed you last week, and I was like, no, you can't go. But at the same time, I quite frankly, truly can't think of a better position that has your name written on it. I mean, taking strategic action planning for Make-A-Wish. I mean, that's your heart and that's your mind together into one, and it says you all over it. And so, you know what? Congratulations. I'm proud of you. I think that that's outstanding, and I will miss you. But I know that you'll do great things, and I appreciate all of our years together. Thanks a lot.
Vice Mayor?
You know, Kim, we're all going to miss you so much. You did such a wonderful job, and like everyone has said and continues to say, it's like you just plug you in anywhere, and it was just like you were always there, and you could always do anything. And you will be able to do anything. And I am so proud of you for what you're going to do, because Make-A-Wish is such a wonderful organization. You are just really going to change so many lives and help so many people there that it's a good thing for you. Although we don't want to see you go, it'll be so good for you. I remember when I started the city, I first met you, and you're like, I saw you on the cruise because I saw you with your friends, and you're like, oh yeah, I saw you at dinner. Oh, I didn't know that. And you were such a nice lady, and you made everyone feel comfortable. When I was new, you made me feel so comfortable, and you were always there with a smile and to help us, and it's just wonderful, and I'm so proud of you. So you will do such great things. So good luck to you.
Councilman Vasillo?
Well, I had the opportunity to work with Kim both as an employee and on the city council. We go way, way back. So I'm sorely going to miss you, Kim. But I do know that this is a passion of yours. You want to work for a nonprofit, and I know you get an opportunity to do that. And I'm going to wish you the best of luck. You know, every time we go up to talk to you, she'd have those eyes glued not only to one screen but two screens. And I'd always kid her, when you go into 3 or 4, we're trying to, move that up a little bit. But working on double screens, always busy, always glued, always doing something to help the city. So, again, you're going to be sorely missed. And if you need anybody in the future to talk Sean down off the ledge when the Patriots lose another game, just give me a call, okay? Good luck, Kim.
Councilman Stipp.
I've never been excited when somebody leaves like I was when you made your announcement last week, knowing how important that position was for you. It took away all of the sorrow that I felt for your departure because I knew how important this was for you. And it's amazing that and I think you'll see this as you go to work for Make-A-Wish, of the lives that you'll touch without not really ever knowing it. The things that I have learned from you, from watching you work, have really been very shaping for me as not only an elected person, but as a person and the work that I do outside of council. And I will always be in your debt for that, and you didn't even know it. So the emails that we've exchanged over the last few weeks have really been very heartfelt for me. I wish I had a "What About Kim" sticker, but I do wish you the best of luck. I know you're going to stay here in the Valley, so we're not going to lose you as a person. But best of luck, and if there is ever anything that I can do to repay the debt that I owe you, please don't hesitate to call me. Thanks.
So to finish this off, I think she deserves a round of applause.
Oh, I do too.
All right. Now, is there any staff summary, anything we have to follow up? Is there anything on the dice? Yes.
Go ahead.
Council,
Whoever. Yes.
right. Go ahead, Joanne Osborne.
Brian, years ago, when we hit the recession and we were looking for ways to cut back, and we had this great technology at our fingertips, we started emailing Christmas cards. I would love to know what it would be to actually go back to actual Christmas cards from the city rather than these e-blasts. I think that what we do as a council and what we do as a city is build relationships. And at this time, it goes back to handwritten notes and things like that. I think the mailing of a Christmas card, a holiday card, a New Year's card, whatever the theme of that card is something that I would love to know, because I don't even know what our address list is. If we're talking about, this is a $100 thing, I would love to know what that means to the council to see the city do something like that. And I know that's probably something, it's just something I'd like to know, because
Are you talking about
seems
the
like
sentiment or the cost of it?
a cost.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
we've gotten stuck in let's just do e-blasts of these holiday greetings, and I just think that it's something that we could maybe look at going back to the right, personal way again.
Thank you. Councilman Campbell?
This is to the city manager. The status of the West Goodyear agreement, I'm assuming, will come before us next meeting because it was promised that it would be done by December. Is that correct?
Mayor and Council Member Campbell, yes, we, in talking with Bob, we are working very closely with every one of those parties. And we are, and it's been talked about a December deadline, and Bob, last update I got it was January is when they'll be finalized. We're working with, legal is working with this as well. So are we still looking at January at this point?
Oh, that's disappointing. That's very disappointing.
We are at the point of meeting with, we really need to reconnect with some of the individuals in the West Goodyear development community. We are at the point now that we understand what they want and what the city needs to acquire with the new agreements. Now it's a matter of crafting the agreements, working through any last minute issues that they bring up. So we're going to be reaching out to the community to find out the various developers to determine what their needs are, what their timelines are, to best meet their timelines in terms of turning these agreements around. We're working closely with the legal staff in turning these agreements out, but there's, I think, over 14 agreements that need to be developed. Additionally, the cost recovery ordinance needs to be changed. So Rourke and I and members of the engineering staff are working with a plan, a schedule to go back, and we will advise council as soon as we nail that down.
Okay, because I know we've been talking about this for months, and if I recall correctly, either September or October, we were told that that legal was working on it and it would come back in December. So that's what I'd like to know. I'd like to hold your feet to the fire. So now it's January, but please don't let it go any further. You could drag this out another 6 months to a year, because until you get those agreements together, nobody's going to build.
We're aware of that.
I know.
We're working with the parties very closely.
Okay. So now January sometime.
We will update council by the end of this week with a memo with the status of this.
Okay, thanks very much, Bob. And that's your last duty, right? You did very well.
Right.
Thank you.
Councilman
Bob,
Pizzillo?
Bob, just real quick.
Wait, Bob.
What about Bob? Does this mean that you'll have to come back and ask for another extension? Because it's my understanding it expires at the end of December.
That's what I thought.
The potential is there for that. We have three of the developments that have a date of January, the end of January, and theirs expire. So we will be including that, whatever needs are there to address those expiring agreements with what the plan is to address that.
Okay, so then this would be probably, I assume then the fifth extension. We've had 4, right?
You're correct.
Okay.
So this came under the follow-up.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Mayor and council members, part of the follow-up, we'll talk about when the agreements expire, when the plats expire, et cetera. So that'll all be part of the update to you as well.
Okay, great. So the future meeting will be a work session, a regular session on December 14th. Before I adjourn this, just a reminder that we're going to have a special meeting directly following. So this meeting is adjourned.